Freedom fighters, I'm coming back at you with another episode of What the Heck is Going On in Our Crazy World. But, this is a weekly wrap up. I know I said I really wasn't going to do these anymore, but, seeing all the crazy stuff that goes on through the week, and it's pretty much what I was thinking about. It's just easier to kind of go over the topic. So if you're new here, this is what I have been doing, at least in the past. On Fridays, I, cover news and current events. Usually the Monday show, we cover some kind of politics or something like that. Occasionally I branch off into some kind of, gear review type video. Maybe camping, cooking, something like that. But, anyway, I just kind of wanted to lay it all out there with a lot of the stuff I was seeing, and there's kind of an overreaching theme here of what the channel's name or what the channel's theme has always been about, that nobody's coming to save us. And I was looking at the system as a whole, just everything going on this week and all this stuff. Of course, we've talked over and over again about the Trump tariffs, and it's really ratcheting up against China now. I think we're upwards of like 200% now, 250% or something like that he bumped it up. And, it's just going to keep going. And eventually, like I said, it's going to lead to World War III. The show is over, right? The game of musical chairs, the music has stopped, and you got to find yourself a seat. And a lot of these countries are, positioning themselves for a seat at the table, but not everyone's going to get a seat, right? So there's possible war with Russia, and then obviously right now China's heating up. Iran, Israel, the whole Palestine, Middle East debacle. And then you got Pete over at the Pentagon, who's all in. He's all in for all of it. He was on Fox talking the other day, like, oh yeah, we're dead serious about Iran not getting a nuclear weapon, which we all know they've been either have one or have been capable of one for a very long time. And it's been like, what, for the last like 8 or 10 years, it's always like Iran's a month away from a nuclear weapon. Then it's like, oh, they're 2 weeks away from a weapon. They're a week, and now it's like they're a couple of days from developing a weapon. Okay, well, it's been a couple days since you last said that. But, again, it's been years since they've been going down that route, because it's always been the lead-in, to a conflict. But, yeah, Pete's all in for the wars, and, it's like the video I did recently, the USA, the Titanic sinking ship. The ship has sailed. There's no turning around the ship. That part is over with. The ship has sailed. The stage is set. And that is mainly what we're dealing with here, which is a point I wanted to get across. The political theater, which I often talk about, where you have to wake up from the whole thing. And this is probably going to, make some Trumpians a little upset here. But it's what I've been telling you from the beginning, that you aren't going to vote yourself out of it. Trump ain't going to save you. And look at the, the dream team here. You got Pete in the Pentagon, Christy Nome at DHS. Man, don't even get me started about Christy. She was talking about, all this crazy stuff. I think I did a video about her one time before, where she did, where is she again? Is it North Dakota or something anyway? But in her home state, she passed a law that, you can't criticize our great ally. So she's obviously a staunch supporter of the First Amendment. But mainly she came out and she was, talking about the Real ID, which we talked about. And, this is something that's been opposed since it was first brought about. In 2005, it went through the Republican Bush administration. It went through, 2 terms of Obama, the first term of Trump, and Biden, and almost 20 years later now, it's coming back up. And, the Trump administration is the one who's going to bring it to you. The Republicans are the ones who are going to bring it to you. And that's why I always talk about the political theater, man. They get you thinking that these are your heroes and these are your patriots and your freedom fighters and your staunch, conservative beliefs of all this stuff. And those are the ones that they use in to bring in the police state and the mark of the beast and all this stuff. You got Elon in there talking about the chips, and they're going to tie the social credit score into a ID system. It's all going to go digital, and this is Patriot Act on steroids. That's literally what it is. Um, you're going to have all your, papers, please. It's all going to be in this compact, digital profile of you that gets to determine whether you get to fly or, what buildings you get to enter, etc. Um, but yeah, I mean, so you got, Pete at the Pentagon, you got Christie at DHS, Pam Bondi, as the Attorney General. You got Cash in the FBI. All these positions. And Pam Bondi, by the way, just arrested some guy. What was that, man? I can't remember if that was a continuance of a J6er or something like that, but she's still, arresting people that don't deserve it. And then she came out and, did this big an announcement on X that justice is coming. And I'm like, oh, okay, like, maybe this is it. It's finally happening. She's like, we arrested the so and so Tesla perpetrator who burned down the dealership in, I can't remember where it was, Colorado or Portland or something like that. And uh it's like, man, these aren't the people we need you going after. And the phone dies again. Well, where did I leave off here? I know I was talking about I think Pam Bondi and the Do Nothing AG Bill Barr 2.0. And oh yeah, that's right. So I was talking about, how she was like, "Oh, justice is coming," and we caught the perpetrator who burned down so and so Tesla dealership. And I'm just like, we don't even need to worry about these people. The soy boys, the pink-haired, feminist trolls, the green hair, blue haired, whatever. Like, they can get dealt with in the streets. We can deal with these people. We need your help getting the untouchables. The people that we can't just go get. The people that, and I'm not even advocating you do anything to the, the blue hairs. What I'm saying is they're going to get dealt with on their own. I mean, you saw that Chaz Chop, Summer Love Revolution they had, where, the saying, they eat their own. They were literally killing each other during their own protest. They're like, oh no, this is a, ally safe zone and we're all friends here. Yet they're like popping off shots, and there was different, gang members out there handing out ARs and having gang fights and, all different kinds of stuff. They will eat their own. They will be dealt with on their own. And then you remember the community garden that they started up that failed, and they realized, like, they started trying to bring Uber Eats in and stuff. Like, when this collapse really goes down, they're not even going to be a problem for us. So we don't need you going after these people. We need you going after, the corrupt, deep state, entrenched swamp monsters that we can't deal with, right? Um, and obviously, I mean, it looks like at some point they're just going to leave it up to us to deal with it. But, the full repercussions of those, um, what that's going to be. I mean, you cannot just go, they always talk about citizens arrest and all that. Well, yeah, try putting your hands on a cop or a sheriff or an elected official, some kind of politician. You're going to find out real quick that there is no such thing as citizens arrest. And that's what I'm saying. It has to be done through the process of government. It has to be these people who do it. Otherwise, it's just not going to happen. Let's be honest. And again, Cash Patel, where is he at? The whole day one, we're gonna turn the FBI building into a museum. And it all goes back to, if this government isn't dismantled and demolished, and even like mainstream, conservative influencers. I saw Cat Turd the other day posting something like, I'm getting real tired of waiting for, some investigations and some arrests here on these, traitors. Schiff and the J6 committee, these people who lied under oath, the whole Russiagate, the Peter Strzok, the Rosenstein, all these people who perpetuated this lie and committed treason. And all these people who violate the Constitution on a daily basis, and all these gun control laws and everything. I was texting over the week where they were trying to hold Trump in contempt for deporting these illegals, and they said it's unconstitutional, and he's going against the Supreme Court mandate that said he can't deport illegals under the War Power Act or whatever. And they're realizing that the Supreme Court doesn't actually do anything. What I've said all along, when these people violate the Constitution, there are no arrests. There is no Supreme Court police that go and enforce all this. They just make a ruling and then expect you to abide by it, but they never do. It's about time we just ignore rulings and just do our own thing. So you got, to backtrack a little here, you got Trump, you got Pete Hegseth in the Pentagon, you got Christie at DHS, you got Pam Bondi as AG, you got Cash in the FBI, and he's the ATF director, and they arrested somebody for a pistol brace the other, week. Again, they're still up to those things. You got RFK now pushing for, he's kissing our greatest allies behind, and he's now supporting vaccines. So it's like, what's really happening, man? It's all the political theater. I'll say it again. The stage is set. The ship has sailed. They know where we're headed. They're going to push us to World War III because the game is over. The music has stopped. And now they're going to use, this Trump administration for the crash. And nothing's going to be done about any of the deep state stuff, all that. All you're going to get is little, throw the dog a bone, and nothing's really going to go down. So, you know what it always is, man. Until the next one, we are on our own. Nobody's coming to save us. So get right with God, because only God can save you. Freedom Fighters out.